Hello, everyone, and welcome to the workshop. Today, we're going to be going over VS Code. So basically just how VS Code works, going through the tricks, keyboard actions, extensions you should download to make your life easier, just kind of navigating through VS Code and getting familiar with the text editor to kind of make your life easier as you're coding. So let's go ahead and get started. So first thing we need to do is actually download VS Code. So you can go to code.visualstudio.com/download. Excuse me. All right, so this takes you to the download site. So if you have Windows, Linux, or Mac, you can download whichever your machine is. So it is cross-platform, and you can go ahead and download from the site. I already have it downloaded. I have a Mac, so you will be seeing the Mac version. Although I believe everything is the same across the board, but just in case, you'll be looking at Mac. So we have that downloaded. You click that, downloads, little pop-up wizard pops up. You follow through that, click next, and go through it, and then you have it downloaded. So once you have it downloaded, the icon looks like this. It's kind of like a blue, almost infinity symbol. All right, so I have a folder here. So let's pretend that I am starting a new project. I have created a new folder that is my project, and I'm going to go ahead and open it in VS Code. One way we can do that is I can just go ahead and drag the folder onto the application here. And it opened up the wrong one. Sorry. All right, so I'm just going to do it the other way here. And I'm going to open Visual Studio Code there, and I'm going to, actually, let me just quit here because I have too many of them open. Okay, so let's just do it this way. I'm going to open it here. I have it dragged. And all right, so when you have VS Code open, you are going to see this kind of interface. Usually you'll have a welcome screen, and then you can click out of that. When I first downloaded, I chose the option to not see that welcome screen again, so it doesn't pop up for me. But here we have our folder here, and mine's called VS Code Workshop, so that's what appears here. If I need to create a file in this folder, I can hover over, and this first icon with the file icon with the green plus is going to be new file. So I just click that, and then I will type the file name. So I'm going to create an index.html file, and I have hit enter, and it has created that HTML file. And you can see here by the icon that it recognizes that it's an HTML file. So I can do cool tricks with VS Code because it recognizes that it's an HTML file. So for example, if I need to create an HTML skeleton pretty quickly and easily, I can type in HTML, then choose the version I want. So I'm going to do 5. And I chose that with my keyboard arrows. I went down, or you can hover over it and click with your mouse. I'm a keyboard user, not really fond of the mouse, so I will be saying my keystrokes out loud. So I hit enter, and then it has created a skeleton for me. Okay, so let me go ahead and zoom this so you can see it a little bit better here. Okay, so here it's created our skeleton in here. Let's say I have, I wanted to create a nav bar. All right, I'm writing my code, and let's say I have a couple of anchor tags, right? I have, oops. Let's say there are 3 pages I have to navigate through, right? And then I have my home page, I have an about page, and let's say I have a contact page. Okay, So as you should know, or maybe you don't if you don't know HTML yet, I am missing my href attribute. So in all of these anchor tags, I have to write href like 3 times, right? Href, href, href. Instead of having to write that 3 times, what I can do is I can write it once and we'll go into 3 places. So that's another trick of VS Code. So what you do is you use your mouse and you click and choose where you want your cursor to go. And then if you want it to go in multiple places, you hold down the command on Mac, control on Windows. You hold that down. Oh, I'm sorry, it's option. You hold down option, and I believe it's control on Windows. Don't quote me on that. So I'm holding that down, holding down option, and then I'm clicking. And now I have my cursor in 3 places. So I hit space, and you can see that it's typing the exact same thing in all those 3 places. So I can do href equals, and then some quotations, because on all 3 of those parts, I'm going to need that. So instead of having to write that 3 times, I can just write that once with that cool little trick. So that is option, and hold down the cursor, click the cursor, and you can type whatever, and it will show up in all of those places. Okay, so that's one cool trick with VS Code. Something else, let's see, I want to create a Script.js here, and let's say I need to open up the terminal and check out the console, right? So I'm going to do console.log testing. Okay, so I have some JavaScript code, and now I have to open up my console and run this code, right? So in order for me to open up the console without having to go to the browser, I can just do that through the terminal, okay? And how you can get the terminal on VS Code is hold Control tilde, and tilde is the little squiggly above the back tick right next to the 1 key. So left to the 1 key. So Control tilde, and you can see down here, it opens up my terminal, and it opens up the terminal inside of the working directory that I am in, which is that VS Code workshop. So that has been open, and now let's say I want to run some code. I'm going to do node script.js. So basically, I downloaded Node onto my computer, so that's why I can do this. And then I hit enter, and then this acts as my console. So if you need to work through the terminal and you don't want to have multiple windows open, you can open up the terminal inside of VS Code, and that is just hitting Control tilde. Same thing will get rid of it. So Control tilde on, Control tilde off. Okay. Also in here, it's the terminal that you're used to. So if you need to create another file, let's say I need a style.css, I can just go ahead and write some basic command lines, and then it creates that for me. Okay, so here is a list of all of my files. If I need to create a new folder, I can do that by clicking the folder icon. Let's say I have an images folder that's holding all my images. I can go ahead and create that directory inside of here. And you can see if it's really happening, because I can go to the terminal, do a listing, and you can see that that images directory is in there, and I can change directory into images, and then I could create a bunch of images, right? So just going to create some empty image files. And here we have them created. So now if we look in my images folder, we have those here. So this terminal is the same terminal that you have been dealing with. So that is one thing with VS Code. Something else I want to point out, what you should have downloaded as an extension. Actually, before I get into that, let me go ahead and show you another trick. So I'm going to get rid of my terminal. I just hit Control tilde, and let's say I am working on my CSS and my HTML, or maybe I'm looking at my JavaScript and my HTML. Point is, I need to look at both of these files to make sure that the IDs that I'm using in my JavaScript is the same as the IDs that I wrote in my HTML. Like, let's say let me just write some quick code here. Let's say I have here, I have a paragraph tag with an ID of paragraph, and then, you know, something, okay? So I need to call on this ID in my JavaScript, and instead of having to go back and forth like this to figure out, oh, what did I call that ID? I can split the screen. So how you do that is you hit this little icon that's called Split Editor. You click that, and then you can move the files to the screen that you want it to be. So here, and then if this is in your way, you can just click this icon right here and it'll move the folders over. And that way I can look at both files at once. So now I know that I called it paragraph. So I do something like, oops, document.getElementById. And I'm like, oh, it's right there. Paragraph, that's my ID. Let's, some real code here, so I'm not, doesn't look like gibberish. All right, so here we have some code, and if you can see here, like it kind of, I have to scroll over to take a look at it. What I can do is I can change my view, and I can do toggle word wrap. And if you look right here, it also shows you the keyboard shortcut to do that. And then you can do that, and then it wraps the text. You can do the same thing over here. And that way you can see the text and you know that you don't have to scroll over, you're seeing all of the code. Also, if you notice right here, it shows you like kind of like a bird's eye view of your code, so you can see where you are in your code. So pretend this is super long. This is going to go here and it's going to highlight where you are in your code, so you can kind of have a clearer idea of the scope of everything. Let's see, what other tricks do we have here? Let's just go into the extensions that I think you should download. If you click here, this little square icon, you can search extensions. There are so many extensions for VS Code. So for me to list out all the ones that you need to download is going to be impossible, but some simple ones that you I think should download are open in browser. Okay, and here, open in browser. If you don't have it installed, there'll be like a little install button, as you can see on all of these. I already have it installed, so that's why you have the little gear icon for me. But you would want to click install, and then you can click on this, and it gives you more information about the actual extension. So you can kind of think of it as like a plugin or like an application that you download on your phone, except it's an extension downloaded into your text editor. So there are ones that you can download that have shortcuts for typing out things. There's so many out there. I highly recommend you look into them and see which ones will work for you. But open in browser, definitely download that one, because what that does is if I want to open this file in the browser, I can just right click and click open in default browser, and then it will open my DOM here in my default browser, which is Chrome. Okay. Let's see, what other extensions do I have? So I have a bunch of extensions here, but you can go ahead and look through them, see what makes your life easier depending on what language you're writing in. I have also this other one, it's the HTMLTagWrap. So let's say I write something here. Let's say write something. And I totally forgot to put my HTML tag around it. So I can highlight it, and then I will put in my caret. And let's say that's supposed to be, oops. Oh, and it didn't work. Okay, oh, I forgot the shortcut on that. But if you could see, like, if I had, let's see, H1 here, and I forgot the carets to that, I can just go ahead and highlight it and hit Shift the caret, and then it makes it into a tag, right? And then it will automatically fill the tag that it needs to satisfy there. Now let me zoom in so you can see it better. Okay, so there are a bunch of extensions that you can install. I definitely recommend installing Open in Browser at the very least. There's also these other icons, which I'm not going to go into because we teach you a different way to deal with these things. But basically, this is source control, and we teach how to use source control with Git and Git Kraken and stuff like that. So you can learn this if you prefer to have everything in one spot, but I'm not going to get into it because there are different ways of doing it, which I think are more of the industry standard than doing it this way. Let's see, what else do we have for VS Code? Oh, another thing. So if you can see here on my files, I have these circles. That means the file has not been saved. So there has been changes made to that file and it has not been saved. I can go ahead and save that by hitting, if you're on a Mac, Command S. And if you're on a Windows, it's Control S, right? So I am just saving it, right? And then you see that it changes into this X. So that means that it has been saved. Let's say I, wrote some code. Let's say, right? And I accidentally delete it. Oh no, I got rid of it. I can go back a step and do undo. So I can hit Command Z, and that's going to undo the last thing I did. So Command Z will undo it. So if you see, it will go all the way back. And then Command Y or Control Y, if you're on Windows, will redo what you just undid. Is it Y or R? I forgot. Sorry, guys. I forgot what the redo command is. Let's see. Oh, it's Shift Control Z. My bad. So Shift Control Z. It's not working either. You know what? We'll just circle back to that. No big deal. All right, and then let's see. What else did I want to show you? Oh, let's say you needed to pick you wanted to cut or copy and paste something somewhere else. Like let's say I need to write this code again. I can just highlight it and hit Command C. That means copy. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I'm going to Command Z to undo it. And I'll do Command V or Control V as in Victor to paste it. Okay, I can paste it like crazy. Let's say I need to cut something. So what's the difference between copy and cut? Copy means we're making a copy of something. Cut means we're removing it. So that's Command X or Control X. I've removed it, but it's on my clipboard, which means I can paste it somewhere. So let's say I wanted to move it down here. I can do Command V, and now it is pasted. So that's another shortcut that you can do with your keyboard. It's not just for VS Code. You can do that anywhere on your computer. But these little keyboard tricks will make your life go a lot faster when you are spending hours typing all day and writing out code. So these things can save a lifetime. And let's see. I can't think of anything that would be needed in order for you to know all the tricks for this program. There are definitely a bunch more, but these are kind of the basics of VS Code. So just to recap here, let's close everything out. We'll save it. And I'll do save here. let's just recap. So here, if I open this icon, it shows me my directory, and then it shows me the contents of that directory. So the contents of this directory has some files, and it has another directory in there with files in there as well. If I want to create a new file, I'll just hit this file icon, and I can do, let's see, headphones.png, right? So I have created that file. If I want to create a folder, I can click on this folder icon, and let's say something, just call that folder something, and I have created that folder. Okay. If I want to open up my terminal, remember I hit Control tilde on Mac and on PC, and that opens up my terminal. I can get rid of it just the same way. Okay. If I write something here, this turns into a circle, which means it's unsaved, and I can hit Control Save or Command Save, depending on the machine that you're on, and then it will turn into an X and will be saved. If I need to open and need to check out my code, I can right click, and since we installed that extension Open in Browser, I can click Open in Default Browser, and it will open that for me. So this is kind of the very raw basics of VS Code. There is a lot that this software can do. So if you want to get more into that, please join me for my office hours and sign up for those, or send me a message at Slack at Cassandra Matos. But I just want to thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.